Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
Go ahead, Lisbeth. Did you have something else?
Yes, I can ask a question, Mr. Keshe.
Yes.
About the, thank you so much for your love and knowledge give us. It's about the gas and energy system because I intend offer, but I don't know most better way for offer is look at the website, or because I need understand how many people around when talk one unit, what people cover, how many families or people covered, and only offered for governments, or because maybe one community need, for example, in Italy, in Spain now, or later in America, need cover you needs, and it may be pay by community or only to government. And how many people cover one unit? Thank you so much.
On your question, what are you asking?
I think she was trying to say, with the power unit, I don't know what one
Yes.
she's referring to, the gas unit. How many,
Gas and energy. Mhm.
okay, how many families could it accommodate?
Linked to one family, demand of one family.
One
Five
family.
is per family, yes. These are not,
Yes, per family, but only offer through the government or the individual families, and maybe in
individuals.
house.
It's for individuals.
That's
With
good. Thank you.
Governments in a different way,
Okay.
totally different arrangement.
Okay. Because I have people in Spain and Italy ask me, and I talk with the Krasimir and give the conversation. Thank you so much.
Yes, I think the gas units still have to be tested, but some of the other items coming out of Iran are ready. That may be the plasma enhancement or the MagRev system, pain pens, pain pads, and I think there'll be some other things, perhaps even this cosmic ray chair or stool. That sounds very exciting for home use as well.
The Iranian side is involved in new production, and the advanced systems are not produced in Iran. They're just produced outside Iran. But Iran is producing their own system, the power enhancement unit and the rest, and many new products. In Iran, we employ a team of scientists, We don't employ knowledge seekers. They are knowledge seekers, but scientists, and all are masters and PhDs and world-class prize winners in their field. Iran team is totally different, is unique, and so they come up with their own way of doing things, like the new, what we call tabletop gas production. It's totally different. It's so, what do you call it? It's simpler, but produces many times more than normal system, even the system we had in the factories. We are going to apply the new systems out of Iran. So we have to wait and see. We know something, 30, 40 new products will come out of Iran. They're working on it in the next few weeks.
Beautiful. But at one point you said to us, we need to move beyond the GANs making and things, but in this past workshop, I thought you indicated that the GANSs are a key, or did you say the gases are a key to producing
Cosmic
rays?
Cosmic gases are the key.
Okay.
If you look at the galaxies and the explosion and the fields you see with them, is a cosmic gas. Where the cosmic gas is produced in a specific way, which we have, what do you call it? I've got in production of. And we use totally new technologies now. It's much more advanced and it allows new scale of work.
So again, much of this is a replication of the processes in the universe, even though we don't understand all of the process in the universe. Some of these systems are replicating or reproducing processes that are going on in the universe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, in a way, we've seen how everything else is done on Earth. We learn how to use hydro for electricity and other things, learning from one process to another. This is up to now we work on the Earth systems. Now we brought in the knowledge of universe. And we make systems which mechanically uses the facilities, but in fact produces something totally different. And it took me months and months to teach our teams around the world. And they gradually are understanding it. What they call the February session of, again, will follow after the 20th. It'll be one of the most amazing sessions Keshe Foundation will ever hold. And we foresee that to be the beginning of opening up a new technology. We pre-tested it in the 16th, and it'll be tested further on the 20th, and hopefully by the February session, we'll introduce totally new technologies. But we stopped teaching the technologies because too many people have used it. And at this level of using the technology is extremely dangerous. Those of you who will attend the 20th of January meeting, you will see some amazing understandings. During the process you might not realize, but like this week as we explained, then you will see. Too, a lot of people came in on the 16th to go through their own going and doing things, but that was not supposed to be. And the data we submitted on Thursday proven it to be. We plan different things. We don't allow, or we don't preset things for people to come in with preset mind.
Mhm.
but you come with a preset mind. Nobody was expecting to go in and become in touch with the Creator and at a soul level. But the tests we did on Monday are more shocking for once we release the technology, once the paperwork for it is done. We will not.
Sorry.
Carry on.
You said on Monday that no one, you gave us an example about on the Friday session when we were allowed to make a wish, we all jumped right away from the Creator and went back to the physicality. And
Yep.
you showed that on the graph. Now on Monday, you said nobody reached the soul level. I didn't quite understand that. Was that in all the different groups? On the Monday session, you said nobody reached the level of the soul or something.
No, nobody reached the level of the soul attachment as we saw Monday with the Creator. We see some. It's a very strange way to analyze data, but it's the only way we can analyze it the moment till new systems are developed. And I think the 20th will open another shocking way for people if you understand it. The revelation on Thursday has already brought shocks into Vatican. We know directly. We know directly what is done in Vatican. We know, as I said, you look at it as your side, we look at it what we came here. The whole base of the 16th was to give a direct message, and by the Thursday teaching to the religious organizations that your term is finished. And some understood very, very clearly. Vatican understood exactly what it meant on Thursday, what happened last Friday. The Iranians understood immediately. When an organization like us receives direct calls from ministers, the following your teaching is not coincidental. How can we now tell people that they can be in touch with the Creator and we have scientific proof we can do it, and we call ourselves in between go?
A go-between, yes.
No, it's not go between go.
Okay.
Go between their own ways of doing it. There is a big change. The last Thursday teaching has been relayed to Vatican by Keshe American Knowledge Team.
But all religion is problem, not only
No,
Christian or.
there are a lot of people. You got to realize for example, the Iranian religious organizations in the past 2 years have prepared themselves for coming out the Messiah, the Mehdi. They have organized armies to protect. They have organized television programs. People don't realize how religious organizations are lining in. This is not what we say. Just if you read Iranian news, go and see, read. And comes directly from offices of the Ayatollahs. The same with the Vatican. They know something is about to happen, but they don't know how it's going to happen. in their scriptures, in their work, it has been fully explained. They know they're going to hit within the next few weeks or months. But nobody was expecting it last 16th. You have to realize how deep these organizations sit and look at every possible ways. We finished teaching on Thursday. Iran is shut down Thursday and Friday. On a Saturday, a minister with the private telephone numbers call us to call them back in. We want to talk. And it's because of the things in the past. No, how come we didn't do it last week? How come we don't do it next week? And a meeting is such, and we have received a call from a minister. Iranian ministries have two heads. One ministers, cabinet ministers, one religious minister, head of it. And the cabinet minister cannot do anything without the religious minister. And we received a call from the religious ministers. And they know exactly what's going to hit them. They're all prepared for it. If you go into Iranian, what do you call it, religious schools and hierarchy, they have prepared themselves in past 2 years for coming of it. They know something's going to hit them, but they don't know how it's going to hit them. And are prepared. They're prepared armies to defend it. It's the same with Vatican. Vatican has started preparing it, and they last pope says, "I'll be the last pope," but they're expecting a person and not a revolution in the structure of knowledge. They're looking at the wrong end. They're waiting for somebody to come and say, Mehdi, this is what's going to happen, and I do this magic and that magic. But actually is the soul of totality will come and bring that change. The beginning of it was last week.
Do you know how many people will be awake that time together?
Pardon?
How many people will be awake that time
What do you mean awake?
when the change come?
The change has already come. You missed it.
Oh, not everybody doing together, right?
No, the change is the beginning of the change.
Yeah, it's happened, but not everybody touched, right?
In time, yes. Now it's awareness of it. Join us on 20th and you'll see a bigger show. What's going to happen on the 20th is more fundamental changes. Has to come in this way. It has to come in what they call it, small pieces. Has to come in banners, and not in the way. You see, this what I call evolution does not have one head. It has 8 billion heads. This is the difference. In the past, they found somebody to blame for, and then they try to say, this, is revolutionary, he's this, he's blah, blah. This time we don't have that. You're all in it and you are part of it and it all comes in totality, but slowly everybody has got to understand and become aware. And we don't create a bunch of zombies.
Yes, we are waiting for that.
You missed it, you've already been here. The train, or you're not aware of it physically, but in your soul, the motion has started.
Yes.
The governments have realized that the essential part was that awakening. The 16th of December 2022 will be written in histories. It's just that you say the day when Muhammad went to the mountain or the day when Christ was crucified, the awakeness of the humanity was on the 16th of 12. The promise that whatever you were told, whatever you believe in, is fulfilled, is gone. In 150, 60 of you were part of it. Nobody declared that they are the message. Nobody declared they've been to see the Creator. Nobody. Because you all went to, and you cannot even understand how you done it, but your soul has.
Yes. Thank you.
In the next session, there'll be more people, there'll be more knowledge. But you gain that knowledge. I know exactly what's going to happen on the 20th, and I know exactly what happens in the February meeting. Don't forget that we already have started the transmutation from, what do you call it, from other places. And then we extend it. Now we have access to cosmic rays and the rest of it. Then the governments have to find solutions, governments have to find answers.
They are scared.
No,
Everybody can say, yeah.
the thing is now the religious leaders are on the back foot. How are they going to tell people when there are electronic systems, there are gadgets and there are systems which confirm that all of us instantaneously can reach the soul of the Creator? We can repeat it every day, we can repeat it every week. Now it's a technology that we can detect it, we can monitor it. It's not anymore the soul of a prophet or somebody. And it's amazing how instantaneously the whole 150, 60 collapses into one. But you got to understand, there are methods and ways when we collapse everything to one, we can release information in that point. And then you understand how everything comes in that.
Yes, that is the way. Thank you. Yeah.
This is more, if you go back into the testing we did over the past few months, I always said, if you listen to some of the teaching, that it's like when you go to the airport, you wait for the terminal, they announce the flight is from that terminal, now you're ready to go. If you remember these words, I've repeated a few times in different teachings. And then when we tell them this is a terminal and you go, they go. We just tell them go to the moon, they go to the moon. Now we asked them, people present, go and see your Creator. So they followed. You missed the boat if you didn't understand how it works. And that's what I say we go to. We don't fly to. You don't fly to Creator. You go to your Creator. And it's the same. We ask you to go to your soul. We ask you to join each other. We ask you to go to your prophet on the soul level. And we ask you together go to your Creator. Then we tell you go to the moon. Then we tell you go and see your family. Nothing has changed. Because even in the systems, we were in touch with your soul. Now with cosmic rays, we put you in touch with the Creator. Now you understand how we walked you into it. And this is how it is. I have to apologize if you hear noises in the background. I'm not in my place, so it's Christmas and there are a lot of noises going on in the background.
Nothing at all. No noises.
Yeah. So now there's a lot of discos and music's going on in the background. The whole structure is I've taught you step by step what's gonna happen. You're interested, if the guy went to the moon, we were interested to, when we give the instruction, if the guy goes to the moon. And he was yes. So it was easy, means the souls were ready. Well, we did the same thing. We asked you to go see your soul. We left you for 10 or 15 minutes. And then we allowed you to go. And the interesting thing was all the noise going on, souls didn't listen to the physical noise. How many people coughed and banged and did everything possible during the session with 160 people? And what we do? Yeah? What happened? The noise of humanity didn't register on our systems 20 kilometers away. That registered the souls because it was connected to. We had nothing. The systems in our locations were exactly connected as you were connected. Nothing else, no other way. Then we could register what we asked. And you can imagine what's going to come next. On the 20th, some of you will have the biggest shock in your life. If you understand what's going on during this session.
Are the religious leaders going to be left holding their hat, where even the world leaders who grovel and crawl, as you said?
How many of you approached your priests and churches and mosques and others, asking them to listen to the teaching of last Thursday?
I tried something on yesterday and they told me to leave the premises. Don't bring that talk here. They were from Syria and I'd known the fellow for 20 years, but I brought up some of this and they asked me to leave. But that's
No,
okay. I just touched them.
The reality is that the change will come, they want it or not. The change will come, because this is what I said to the diplomats. I said, you're looking to change rules and regulations in certain countries, certain ways. Gun policy hasn't worked. You have to understand it works a different way with these people. They got to do it the way it is there. You cannot open a glue with a cold water. You have to add water, hot water to it. You have to warm it up, put a glue to open up. So it's the same with the religions. And this fallacy of the, what do you call it, religion. You come to these sessions for what you see, what you dream, what you came for a cancer or whatever. Sorry, that was only way to get you in. Your soul volunteered you in. You came in. But we didn't hear the noises people were making. Everything else was left to your cancer, your addiction, the rest of it who came in and wanted to fly in the session. Next 12 months of special sessions we put on will bring that change. It'll bring massive changes. As we said, we have asked governments to appoint immigration officers at Keshe Foundation test centers. You cannot play jokes with government. But the funniest thing is, I said to one of the knowledge seekers who is going to issue a visa to people from Mars and beyond who land in the sessions, do you have a passport? What you're talking about? I don't come from this planet. It is going to be amazing what is about to come.
Wow. But it's all been worked out, so it's just easily nudging into it in a nice warm water way and allow the glue to gently open up. John, you had your mic open. Did you want to?
I was just connecting it, and I
No
didn't
problem.
look at the figure.
No problem.
But here I am, all ears right now.
We all are.
When will we become all souls? I think that's a big question, isn't it?
Well, it looks like there's an amalgamation or an interatomic welding between the soul of physicality and the soul of the man taking place in this process.
Yep.
And that's what I was saying. Are these religious leaders going to be left holding their hats once the governmental leaders find a way not to have to grovel? They can come in with dignity to the Keshe Foundation and not have to crawl to the religious leader across the floor, so to speak, literally across the floor. So they may find much more dignity here, and some of the religious leader, again, they're probably these world leaders who are crawling to the religious leaders are thinking, what am I doing? This guy is more corrupt than I am. But they're doing it anyway. But I think in the Keshe Foundation structure, they may even find Mr. Keshe washing their feet rather than having to crawl on the floor.
Yeah, I think the
foundation.
big problem here is, you said, will they leave their hats? They're going to lose their pants also.
You got to understand, we don't look for submission, or we don't look for who's better. We look for equality. We look for understand that everybody is equal, doesn't matter what hat you wear. And in one of the sessions, in the ones we put during the time, like 20th and other months, we'll bring in the way you went to see the soul of the creator, will take you to see and present, or in a way manifest with the soul of the world religious leaders. When the time is right, and the way we do things, then you will see within hours and days, they will walk away from their offices.
how could this be explained to the masses? Or will they explain it
They'll
themselves?
explain it to their masses.
Could you repeat that? I didn't quite hear it.
They will explain it to their masses.
Okay.
In a coming time, leaders of different cultures across the universe will be presented. We are not here just to change as part of the universal community. Like you have the head of United Nations, as such you call it, then you will meet with the leaders of the civilization in the universe. It's all in the pipeline.
Understand.
Don't expect to see a man with a 2 arms and 2 heads, but to understand you come in touch with the soul.
Well, your ticket is on the screen right here for the next session on the 20th of January at noon. And Mr. Keshe said all are invited, religious, world leaders, any of the other ones. No need to hide in the background or behind some sort of wall or someone else's. We can all take part in this as equals together, because this is the way the universe really works.
That means we live all together.
It said they're searching for equality.
Little bit more understanding now.
Mm.
Thank you, Keshe.
Would anyone like to add anything else?
Mark, can I make a question about another topic, or are you talking about something specific?
No, as long as it's related to the foundation, something,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Okay, hello, Mr. Keshe. My question is, all the entities, all the living creatures, they are images of the creator, or only the mankind, the human being? Thank you.
I think I could answer that.
What you mean exactly?
Yeah, I made the man in the image of the creator, in the image of myself. Okay, but are the humans made in the image of the creator, or all the living entities, the animals, the creatures from other planets and other?
We all have a soul, which is a plasma, not the physical shape, 2 arms, 2 legs. This is a misinterpretation of the meaning. I made man in the image of myself as a field, not as an arm and leg or a dog or a Martian or whatever.
You did say the creator has many faces and he appears in life. So when we see life, we see the creator, yes?
Everything has a beauty. Depends what you want to call it,
Yes.
how you want to see it.
So, all the entities, they have the ability to transmute and travel through the soul.
This is a beauty of the new cycle, yes. But like man, they have to go through a process of maturity. They got to realize when we gave knowledge to man, he made guns and bullets and everything else to be better than the other to do. This time, the knowledge is given to all, and no one can be better than the other. It's an evolution in the whole structure, but you have access to all of the knowledge of the universe. If you listen to trials we did with the knowledge seekers, none of them said, I wore a mask, or when I went to the moon, they were in the moon, they wore a moon clothing. They were there as a man on the moon. Wherever they went in the space, they were as what was the space life. They didn't see themselves as a human. And when we ask the people, can you describe how you see yourselves? They tell us they have long hairs on their arms and their fingers are slightly different. They grab things in different ways. They don't need to touch anything. When you ask them, they touch them emotionally. No physical touch. They can describe everything about them, how they feel, how they sense them, but no touching, it's just by emotion. And that's what we said in the space years ago. Through your soul, you know if they want to take your food for them or they have any intentions on you. Or the same, they can see your intentions because they don't kill to eat. Harsh times on the way for a man who's also only one way.
And thank goodness you're bringing us slowly into this process, because I don't think we could handle it all at once. It's just too much. As you said to somebody who said, we want all of your knowledge, you told them you couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I had a knowledge seeker from the bunch who attended the first 2014 knowledge seekers. What is in your head is ours. You have to give it to us. What was his name? Anyway, thank you very much. It's running late for us.
Yes, very late. Thank you for coming in. We always appreciate your presence wherever you go. You know, we try to appear with you.
Holiday
Yeah.
tomorrow?
Pardon?
The cash, you don't have holiday tomorrow?
I've been working from 8 o'clock this morning, writing letters and papers. God knows what. I have no holidays. Your luxury is for you. And tomorrow is the same. Tuesday starts 8 o'clock in the morning for official meetings. So Wednesday traveling to 2 countries, most probably Thursday, to sort out the problems we created, to see how we can sort it out. And back again. Never stops Saturday, Sunday, but it's always there.
Will you ever have a point in time where you sort of have a cup of tea and just admire the work you've done here, or will you leave as fast as you can here?
The beauty of it is when you appreciate what you've done or what you achieve is when you see sometimes the physical results, sometimes the outcome. But as I said, we don't count anything. Everything we have is put into condition, time, financially, everything else. I was talking to one of the heads of the Keshe Foundation today, and I was telling him that, you know, when it's success, when they do something with us, is them. If it's a failure, it's Mr. Keshe's problem. It's his fault. So why should I take all the blames and all the downfalls? And only the best things comes for the foundation, for the knowledge. But they still carry on doing. These heavy losses we incurred, few knowledge seekers have supported us, we have to pay them back. Nobody says, sorry, you lost, we all lost. Mine is mine, you shouldn't have lost. So at the end of it, if I make billions out of it, as this is Mr. Keshe's or the foundation. I learned a lot in this huge situation we ran into. Set up by knowledge because we were trapped by knowledge because we never could believe it. But when it came to a few, total help of the knowledge because doesn't come to 1 or 2% of the totality of what has been done. But those who did now, it's your fault, you did it, nothing to do with us. So what happened to the rest? Mr. Keshe takes everything.
You've always said you've worked that way. You've taken the blame when the knowledge seekers have messed up, and you've given them the accolades when things went right. So this is your pattern of work, I believe. You've covered for many knowledge seekers.
It is the way it is. It's the way this human race works. But we're experienced. We'll get through it. Rough times will come, the smooth times is there. But we don't stop, and we don't work in one direction. But
Yeah.
it is so many directions. But when you work and you see the beauty of it, and when you hear, we beat at the moment with all the doctors working in the background with us, using the technology, and they report back, and you hear the cry of the mothers that, you know, the child could never even say hello to them, not ask, how are you, mom, how was the day? Or we have a what do you call it, MS guy since 2015, couldn't walk properly, and then being in a wheelchair, now I can stand up, can move a leg, and then life starts again. You say, yes, understand.
Ike says, amazing how MTK stay humble with all the knowledge.
It's not mine, it's a gift.
Mr. Keshe?
You go ahead,
I have-
Elizabeth. Yes.
Okay. Mr. Keshe is about the new protocol for emotional corona. It's okay?
Yes, we set it out because at the moment it's, I don't know if you heard it or not, 30% of China has been hit by the new corona.
Yeah, but my question is, days ago you talk about the use inhalator.
Yes.
Maybe
Breathing. Yeah.
Yes, breathing. Yeah. Maybe for that protocol, annex this breathing and for zinc or for copper one. Thank you so much.
No, you have to follow the protocol. Dr. Barapur has released the protocol from Tehran on a Persian Farsi chat in both Farsi and English. The protocol is very simple. This thing, when it hits you, it lasts you 3 to 6 months. This time is not a joke. The virus has stepped up in energy, which is in the emotional level. And the only way is to keep it at lower level, because if you go higher, you can create other problem physically. So magnesium is the only way with COP1, COP2 mixture, or with zinc and CO2 mixture. And breathing it and washing it and everything else possible to keep it at bay. We know about this a year ago when we appeared in the Keshe Foundation. Our knowledge seekers were hit. And we had to go through it. We had doctors 24 hours a day watching. Because they became suicidal in a very strange way. They became depressed. They wouldn't turn up in the offices, all sorts of problems. But we walked it through with them, and we learned a lot from them because they were telling us what's going on. They were aware of the situations are real. So we had 2 or 3 cases. We physically had to handle that, spend days and nights going through with them. Middle of the night, they became suicidal. They call Mr. Keshe, just talk to them, walk them through, get them all sorts of things done. I call the doctors in, they look after them. We went through all this, so we know we got a first-hand experience through knowledge seekers what exactly this thing is going to do to you.
Right, and just to add, Mr. Keshe, that you did give quite a detailed answer to Ruthie Lisbeth. So if you go about 2 hours and 45 minutes into this workshop, or the second part of the workshop in the Q&A, you'll see the detailed answer Mr. Keshe provided for Ruthie.
China has been hit very bad with this new corona. Millions have been hit, and they do not know what to do. It just goes like a wind for China. I don't know why and how it's hitting China this way. And videos we receive from securities trying to advise how to handle this is shocking. People are literally locked in their rooms, in their houses, and they literally commit suicide in their homes, the whole family. It's not a joke. Chinese government has got a huge problem with their head. And we haven't seen this outside China yet, as such.
Mr. Keshe, it's Dean here. Can I quickly ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
Thank you. So I had a distressing call from one of my relatives today, and I would say that it's hit the UK. They were saying that there was many people suffering with all sorts of very strange symptoms going on, and being in bed for 3 days. Not just the flu. It's hitting in a way that's quite hard for them, and very emotional. I could sense the emotion that was there almost straight away. So I think this is outside of China now, possibly.
Yeah, it is. You cannot be exclusive, but we don't hear it. And it appears with a soft flu, cold, is not as the first corona we saw. It gets in and it goes to the emotion. Appears as a very, very soft flu. And then the emotional side comes in. This is horrendous for it, but it's what it is. People who had the vaccination still get it. The same as the ones who have no vaccine.
They get it worse, Mr. Keshe, because they have no defense against it. So it just amplifies.
Vaccinations were never made for COVID. Vaccinations were gene modification. Now we know Pfizer. They confirmed in the European Parliament. And there's a mayhem going on in the European Parliament with Pfizer. None of the vaccines are to do with COVID, it's to do with gene modification. And they believe if you modify the gene, the corona will not touch, which is rubbish, killed more people and worse. We saw the Romanian member of European Parliament showing the graph. The more vaccination nations, the more death they had.
Mhm.
This thing,
Sadly, this is true, Mr. Keshe. This is what's so sad about it, that that this is gone through, and people are now starting to. I mean, they have realised, but the normal people are starting to realise there's something very wrong. And
you see,
I always looked at Mr. Keshe when I was here, present here, that the amount of ambulances that were on the streets, and they were suddenly all these new ambulances everywhere. It was obvious. You only had to go to the. Why was there all these ambulances suddenly everywhere? It was very easy to surmise that there was a pre-planned thing, because all of a sudden, they were everywhere, and they're now everywhere across the street.
No, they're everywhere because the people went to get the injection, then they had a heart attack. They were not there for people who were sick. You look at it the wrong way. People, when they took an injection, they went home, they had a heart attack, they went home, they had all sorts of complications.
Now, what I mean by that, Mr. Keshe, is that they were actually ordered before this was all done.
Yeah,
there was many of them. All of a sudden, there was everywhere, and it was preordained.
You know, in Austria, they charge 700 euro when you call an ambulance.
Is that right? Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And when you call an ambulance, if you don't have a insurance policy in Austria, you pay 700 euro. That's the standard fee.
Yeah, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
Mr. Keshe, you gave the gift to China in January of 2020. You said now you've added the missing part to it, which was the magnesium, I believe. And this would, I know it's still difficult, but it would eventually handle it if you continue using it very frequently. And they have this knowledge. They did use it for a period of time, but then they kept it for themselves. And now you say there's millions of people infected with it. Don't they have the solution in their hand?
There is they have there's a very, very big problem in China. We have a massive contract on the table to sign with them. It's sitting with me for weeks. And we have to find out exactly what is going on with the rest of the foundation work and with how we got hit to sort that out. But the agreement we have with the Chinese government to be signed with the central government, not with just anywhere, will cover any eventuality of all these things. It was very difficult for Chinese to tell their people, their whatever agreement, that the technology outside China has come. With the passing of the last president a few days ago, that hurdle which obstructed Keshe Foundation to move is gone. And then they have to deal with us. All the time they dealt with knowledge seekers who they didn't want the knowledge as a foreigner. With a new agreement, Chinese government ratifies. They deal directly with the European company. Keshe Foundation is a European organization for collaboration for these jobs. But at the moment we have this huge loss which we're trying to put in order to see how things go before we add anything anywhere. The knowledge seekers, they pay them millions. some of the knowledge seekers in China closely working with me, they became millionaires with COVID money. But they don't have the knowledge for whatever else is. They only could make up one which they learned from us, and some of them are in prison now because the government realized that they cheated. And then they realized they went to my chief Keshe Foundation workers, the heads of the Keshe Foundation in our factories. Then they told them move to Keshe, to the military. They said, no, we don't move. They said, you know everything, Mr. Keshe. Says, no, we are knowledge seekers, we're just students. We work in the factories for you. And the reality is this, something as you all know, most probably you don't know, but if you're European, you heard about it. But couple of weeks ago, the European National Police Forces in Belgium broke into 16 member of Parliament's house, European Parliament houses and offices. They found 600,000 cash, millions and millions of dollars of money in the bank accounts. Deputy Vice President of European Community, Italian lady, is in prison at the moment, or under arrest with 4 others. And there is tens of millions in private accounts has been found. And this group just came from World Cup Qatar, ceremonies. Qatarian government paid these members of parliament to influence the gas prices and the other things to the benefit of Qatar, that they can become the main supplier to Europe. And Germans blew the whistle and they all got in. Now, a number of members of the European Parliament are going to go to prison for a long term. She's only 40 years old, I think. The Vice President of European Parliament. And they found tens of millions have been paid just to get the contract for the gas to go to Qatar for Germany and the rest of European governments. And the Americans are making so much money out of this, they blew the whistle because they were present in the bribery in Qatar during the World Cup. Now, guess with what is come up with Pfizer, how many billions have been paid to the politicians in European political parliament and the rest of the world? Now, who and how we going ever to find out what happened to those millions in bribes? If a football match was used to give millions of bribes for energy to the Western Europe, now you can imagine how much money was paid to the world leaders to make a fake COVID situation. But the beauty with it is they faked an injection, which wasn't supposed to be. But now, who was going to handle the new situation? Anyone gets hit by this new COVID, Keshe Foundation has a technology to reverse it. You go to our clinics, allocated, you suffer with the depression and everything else, go to our doctors. They book you in, within a couple of sessions, you go back to normal. We have a team of doctors, they work anywhere in the world.
Yes, you mentioned that to Ruthie. You said if she could get in the system, you could balance it out.
Yeah, it takes not long because we tested, we know how it works.
Mr. Keshe, this works on regardless of whether you've been vaccinated or not?
Yep. There is a fee charge to the same channel. You come through the same channel as the, what do you call it, health ads, and it goes to the team of doctors and they have a fee. If they put a fee for it, it can be done straight away.
Is reinfection an issue?
Doesn't matter. With next cycle is worth. What I see the next cycle will be paralysis.
Why would an energy package want to destroy the entity it's living in? Or is this just the natural progression to get to that dimension of the soul to create its own structure?
It is a natural progression. The next is paralysis. People just because zombies and on the floor.
You mean just blacking out, Mr. Keshe?
Pardon?
You mean just collapsing, blacking out, losing?
We saw the first part of this in China. People just freeze like ice in the middle of the street.
Mhm.
You don't fall, they just collapse. Some people just walk and just they freeze. We are prepared to work with governments and share knowledge, but on the basis of correct conduct. At the moment, next couple of weeks, the Keshe Foundation is shut down till the 9th. Allows us to readjust, recuperate, and see what we can do with what we've been hit by. But then we'll see what the next step will be.
I imagine, Mr. Keshe, this paralysis would look very much like what happened in the 1950s with the polio, no?
No, it's different. It's just a frozen picture, they call it, yeah. They call it a frozen picture. People just freeze in the spot.
We saw a couple of those videos that you had shared with us in the Knowledge Seekers workshop where the fellow was just sort of standing there. He couldn't get started again.
No.
He was trying to get started, but he got locked up.
Yep. That's where is the next step will come, Mass. When all your emotional systems screw up. At the moment you have emotion, depression or suicide. When all your emotions go together, you can't move. There's no information going to the body to carry on. Anyway, it's a bit too late here. Thank you very much. And hopefully we meet you later on. We'll talk.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a nice holidays. Thank you.
You too. Thank you for the card.
Thank you so much.